Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Metro Exodus Sam Story DLC, a Man of Principle trophy walkthrough, and this is episode 11, which I have named The Last Hero, and this is also the last episode of this walkthrough, where we will reach the conclusion of Sam's adventure. And now we have gotten back to Tom's sub. We have the fuel rods, and apparently Klim, Tom's second in command, has decided to mutiny against Tom because he wants the sub for himself. But we are gonna subvert those plans. And you start off by going out where we came in, and I'm gonna switch over to my suppressed pistol. Make sure that it's suppressed, because we want to be a little bit stealthy, and then we're gonna crouch and huddle down here on the left side of the sub. You may get hit by soldiers here, that is completely random, but if that happens, don't stress, just move over to this tail fin, and we're gonna try to headshot this guy down here on the lower path. As soon as he goes down, haul ass. Want to get in here and duck down and wait, because two more guards are gonna show up. One is gonna run over to the corpse and one is gonna stop just in front of us. Here comes the first guy and here's the second one. So we just knock his ass out, and as before, the reason I knock them out instead of killing them when I do a close encounter takedown or whatever you call it is solely for the fact that the animation for subduing them is usually faster than killing them. Don't know why that is. Or when you try to go for the kill in such a thing, usually they want to make it a bit more dramatic because you want to feel rewarded as a player. But now that those two guys went down and everything is still calm, no one's the wiser that Sam has boarded the dock. Or do you actually board the dock? Do you just board ships? Either way, we're gonna head up here to the second floor as soon as I slide down. That was not my making. That is something I have come across a few times throughout this game, that when you're crouched on a staircase, if you stop, Sam has a tendency to slide down to the lower floor. I don't know why that happens. Maybe his thighs are fat or something. Even though I don't think post-apocalyptic Russia is not the place where you manage to put on weight. But that was a guard outside. If you want to, you can switch out any weapons for that bulldog or bullpup or whatever. I still haven't looked up what that weapon is called. But I would suggest that you just stick with the guns you have, because they will be more than sufficient to get you through this level. And now that we get in here, we want to make an immediate hard left, because this is classic Metro style. This is just like in Metro 2033 and in Last Light. You know, where you sneak through bases and turn off the lights and no one knows you're here. And I think actually that this is Metro at its absolute finest. I love these stealth sections. But we sneak up to this fuse box and kill the lights, which will make it even harder for the enemies to spot us. And I'm gonna take out this guy just as a precaution. So we use our amazing throwing knives of death and doom. They are so insanely powerful in these games, and I love the fact that you can pick them up, so as long as you don't throw them into a place where you can't get them again, or sometimes they may actually disappear, you can more or less almost go through these games, or all the human areas that allow for stealth, using only throwing knives. Which is absolutely amazing. Over to my right, you may have seen, I just passed it, there is a fuse box which I think kills the middle part. or kills the lights in the middle part of this area, but I decided not to use that. I just tucked my balls and snuck straight across. And we're gonna head up here so we can open up the door to get into the next section. And up here there is one guard at the opposing corner. There we see him. So we just crouch and stay crouched in this area as long as you can, because I don't know if you walk slowly, maybe they will not hear your footsteps. But I know that if you run, at least, you do make noise. And I think you make a little bit of noise when you just walk normally as well. But as long as you stay crouched, you are completely silent. So here we have the kill switch to open up the door into the next area, and we're gonna kill the lights here as well. And when you go back, be careful, because I'm gonna head back the same way I came up here. But there is now a new guard up here on the second floor. You don't see him, but he's right to my left. Really close, and I came really close to getting spotted, so always check the direction you're walking. And now one of his friends noticed that some shit is going on, so we're just gonna move over here and throw another throwing knife. Make sure to line up your aim, because the throwing knives can sometimes, if you don't line it up properly with your pistol or rifle or whatever you have equipped, sometimes you may miss and they will hear the clang of it going into the wall and you will be in a world of hurt. And we don't want that. We want to stay stealthy as long as we can. And this level is divided into small sections. Because when you get through a section, as far as I know, none of the enemies from the previous section will follow you. So it's like a bunch of mini levels concocted into one big one. So it is quite fun. And what you want to do here, when you get to this area, you want to go into the left door. I went in here, but there's nothing really useful in there. Just took a wrong turn. And now we can head out this door and you're safe. Don't worry about that explosion. That is a completely scripted sequence. No one is still the wiser that we are here. And we are gonna sneak through this area as well. First we are gonna loot through all of these little boxes and pick up all the good stuff. You should be pretty stocked by now. And what we will be using throughout the rest of this level, we will be using the shotgun for a bit, and we will also be using a lot of incendiary rounds when we get to the last encounter. And the suppressed pistol should be sufficient getting up to that area in combination with your throwing knives. And when you get down here, you want to hide behind that wooden roller to my left. I got a bit overambitious, almost got spotted by the guard going down. And we want to wait for these two to finish their little conversation. And then they will continue on patrolling. One will move to the left, one will go for the right path, and we will head straight down the middle. Bit like in my Dishonored Death of the Outsider videos. I think it was in the first or second video. Same thing. Two guards head over to different side paths so we can just sneak down the middle street. And all the guards here are over on the right side. So you can more or less just stroll down here. And you're even at such a big distance. So if you walk normally, they will not hear you. And here comes the only tricky part in this entire level. And I hate this area. Go in here, make a hard left and make a circular motion around these two guards. And you want to move here. Stay on your feet. Because they will fuck about with a mine. And what's supposed to happen is that mine goes off. And that will draw the attention of the other guards. For some reason, during my recording it did not go off. I heard one of them screaming, which was my cue. You saw me turning over to right, that it should explode, but it didn't. So I think that is a glitch, because it took me a few tries to get through this area somewhat consistently, and sometimes it went off and sometimes it didn't. But if it doesn't, just headshot that guy, empty your pistol into these two, and run like a bat out of hell. Because there are quite a few guards in that little area, and they can cut you down quite quickly if they manage to gang up on you. And what happens if the bomb actually goes off, or the mine actually goes off, is that first or the second guard I shot, the one who was standing on the walkway, I think he will actually run over to that area. So you'll only have 2 guards to take out instead of 3. But now we are down in what I guess is some kind of Gladiator Arena that Klim and his little comrades have devised or put together. So we are gonna take out a few waves of the humanimals, or the humanoid mutants. And this part is super easy. If you have your shotgun with you haven't switched it out for the sniper rifle, you can see what damage it does against these. And also feel free to use Molotovs. You saw me throw one, and I took out, what was it, like 4 or 5 of them in a single hit. And just let them come rather close, because as you know, shotguns aren't good at a distance. And you want to stay over in this area where I'm hiding out, in this little corner. First of all, no one can flank you when you're standing in this corner. And if you see over at the other end of the arena, where you see a yellow light that's flashing, that is just over a corridor where there is one of the bandits standing. So if you expose yourself, he will start firing and make it slightly more difficult. But he shouldn't present too much of a problem, and we are gonna snipe his ass as soon as we are done with these mutants anyway. And for some reason here, I decided to go over to start using my machine gun, or my Sammy rifle. That is a mistake. Just use your shotgun. I don't know why I didn't do it. There is no harm in using the machine gun. It just takes a lot longer to take them out, because this Smurf... Okay, he decided to die eventually. Thank you. But now on my Sammy rifle, I'm gonna equip it with the semi-automatic system, so we can fire single bullets, and also equip it with the scope, so we can take out, you see his flashlight over there? He does not want to stick his head out, so we are gonna put our focus on the gas can instead. Peace through superior firepower. So that is the Gladiator Arena, and before we leave here, I'm just gonna run around and pick up a few of the good things that are here. Because now, all that remains now is going into the final battle, where Klim, the leader of the mutineers, and as I said, Tom's second in command, or he used to be before he decided to backstab his boss, he is gonna throw everything he has at you. And given the design of the level, what he has to throw at you isn't much. Because we are gonna use the design of this level to our advantage, and we are gonna make great use of the incendiary rounds. Because here there is a workbench just before you go into that fight, and I must say that is one of the kindest placements. This entire level is very well designed, in my opinion. It's easy to feel powerful when you're going here. And this time I have left in my work at the workbench because I'm gonna clean my Sammy rifle. And I'm gonna put on the sniper stock and also the small magazine. And I do all this just to make the weapon as stable as I absolutely can. Because we are gonna go sniping. And the lighter the weapon, the less your weapon will sway. And if you have equipped it the way I have with the small clip, the semi-automatic barrel, the sniper stock and the sniper scope, it will not sway at all. And make sure to equip it with your incendiary rounds before you go into this area. And now we're going duck hunting, more or less. Because out here, we are gonna be attacked by waves of bandits. And as always, with these incendiary rounds, it's just one shot per bandit. Doesn't matter if you hit their fucking pinky toe. You will still set them ablaze and they will go down. And this is, I think, the absolute most amazing fight in this entire DLC. And I think this DLC overall has been so much fun, both to play through and to create this walkthrough for. The only problem I've had, which I hope you think that I have succeeded at least somewhat in, was cutting it up into episodes to keep it somewhat fluent. So I wouldn't have to do any weird cuts. So that has been the biggest challenge going through or creating this walkthrough. But after you have taken out the initial wave of enemies, the guys down on the docks, one boat is gonna show up, which will hold a few bandits on it. And we are not gonna leave this position yet, for a while at least. Just stay over here and take pot shots at them. And there are not enough enemies to make you run out. If you have the ammo pouches vest on, you will go into this fight with 90 incendiary rounds. And I think there are only like 30 enemies or something. So even with my shitty aiming, I got through this with quite a few bullets to spare. And after you've taken out the first boat, you will go into not a cooldown period, but you're gonna have to move up a little bit to trigger the next wave. And you hear Clem shouting something on the radio, like get him or something like that. That is your trigger that the next wave has arrived. So we just move back up to the platform where we started. And continue shooting fish in a barrel. Or bandits on a dock. But it doesn't really roll off the tongue now, does it? But I think this is... Damn, he managed to dodge my bullet like a beast. But didn't manage to do it the second time, and that may have been a nut shot. There we go. I think that is the second wave. Just sweeping the area quickly to see if there is anyone still alive. And I think there was. Yes, here comes another boat. And it's always fun to try to like shoot the guy driving the boat while it's still in mid-cruise. I'm not quite sure if you actually can. I think there might be an invisible wall. Is something I said at the very second I actually hit him. It's just my shitty aiming, I guess. And you can hear Clem is really starting to get pissed off at this point, because he realizes he is fighting a losing battle. But I think that was the last boat that's gonna arrive at the dock. So this is as good a time as any to start pushing forward. Because now there will be no more waves of enemies. There are just a few bandits left on that boat, and there are gonna be two guys trying to make a last stand over by that little lighthouse or command house or whatever it is I don't know anything about boats. The round little tower up there, and that is also the place we are going. So we just start making our way across these little walkways that they have kindly enough set up. Even though those planks didn't reach the edge of the second ship. For some reason they stayed in place. Maybe they epoxy glued them there. And when you're moving up here, of course, make sure whenever you spot an enemy, take him out. Because now, of course, there are only like 2 or 3 enemies left. But it's unnecessary to take damage when you don't have to. I think that was the last crew guy from the boat. So now we're gonna move up towards that little commando tower. That's what we call it, commando tower. So we shoot down that guy that was crouching behind the fence. And then there is one guy in there. Down he goes. And that is actually the last enemy of this DLC. And when you're moving off this last boat over to the dock, make sure you don't fall down inside that stack of tires. Because it can be quite difficult to get out, is something I heard. A friend told me. I absolutely didn't fall in on my first playthrough. Or did I? Either way. Now we have a choice to make, because the captain has asked us for a favor. And to fulfill the favor, so to speak, and get the A Man of Principle trophy, make sure to press left on the D-pad. This is the last instance of that trophy. So we pressed left. I'm not gonna say what it's about because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you have followed this walkthrough and done what I did, you will get the Untouchable trophy and you will get A Man of Principle for earning the captain's full trust. And if this was your first playthrough, you will also unlock the trophy called the Last Hero. And this is where we leave Sam to go on new adventures. And I want to thank you so very much for watching. And I will see you again in my next walkthrough. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.